yeah. It's my 2 cents. My 2 cents. About the good stuff. About the good stuff. Cynt Marshall's bringing that bold love. Bold love. Inspiration. Inspiration. Elevation. Elevation. Yeah, that's tough. When she speaks, we rise above. It's my 2 cents about the good stuff. Talking hard, talking hope, and the real us. She's compassion with a microphone. Impact you feel in every tone. So now pull up a chair, let the stories fly. It's a good stuff, no need to try. Cynt Marshall at the mic, oh yeah. You'll laugh, you'll learn, and maybe cry. It's my 2 cents. About 2 cents. About the good stuff.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to My 2 Cents About the Good Stuff. I'm Cynt Marshall, President and CEO of Marshall Resources, where our goal is to lead, engage, and inspire. I hope you've had a chance to watch our March podcast, where we visited with our friends at Girl Scouts of Northeast Texas and toured their amazing Dream Lab. Our May episode was focused on mental health and the good work being done at the Bridge the Gap Foundation and Momentous Institute. I hope you're still squeezing the day. I hope you've been enjoying these inspiring conversations of compassion, action, and impact. June is National Cancer Survivor Month. I'm so blessed to be in the number. My dear sister, Dr. Connie Bell, is also a cancer survivor. Usually when you see her, she's helping to interview our guest and/or sharing information about our corporate spotlight or MAD, Make a Difference opportunities. But today, she's in a different capacity, as I am too. We are the ones being interviewed. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in 5 men and 1 in 6 women worldwide will develop cancer in their lifetime. Connie and I are 2 of those women. We also have a few audience members with us who know this fight. My husband is one of them. Kenny was just placed in remission from multiple myeloma after 3 years of treatment that included a stem cell transplant. Our sister friend Cheryl Action Jackson, my girl, is our moderator for what we pray is a conversation that will give you hope and encouragement as you personally travel your cancer journey or come alongside someone who is battling cancer. Let me turn it over to my dear sister, Dr. Cheryl Action Jackson.
Oh my goodness, Cynt. I am so excited to be here. First of all, to say that you call me Connie, Dr. Connie Bell, let me say that. When she said, Cheryl, I want you to interview me and Dr. Connie Bell, because we're gonna talk about cancer. And I knew that, you both were cancer survivors. Literally my heart just stopped because I know how important this is to both of y'all. You're both strong, beautiful women, brilliant women, executives on the level that every woman is trying to reach, and you've been through so much. And so for me to get to hear the stories and to pull out what everybody's gonna wanna hear from both of you, it's such an honor, Cynt.
Oh,
so I just want to say thank you for choosing me. I've been chosen for such a time as this. Yes. And when I walked into the studio and I'm sitting here waiting, then both of you ladies walked in. I'm looking at the shirt. So, Dr. Bell, can I call you Connie for the sake of it?
You can call me Connie.
So, Connie, can I just ask you, show them the shirt and tell me about this shirt.
Girl, I love this shirt. This is one of my favorite shirts because it said, had it, beat it, survived it.
Oh, I survived that.
Yes.
I love that. Okay, so you know why you survived?
Why?
Because you've been chosen.
Love it, love it, love it, love it.
You ladies, did y'all plan this?
We didn't plan it.
No, but we're sisters. Like, we didn't plan it.
Now, I will tell you, sisters, that I had a cream outfit on, a cream pantsuit out, and then I changed it to this black dress. So
I'm
that
glad you
would have
did.
been just hilarious.
But see how we matched?
Yes,
See how we matched?
You are matching.
It's all planned.
It's all planned.
It's all planned.
Such a beautiful
By
thing.
design.
Yes.
I love it.
And what's so beautiful, I know a lot of people have already received your book, Cynt, so we're going to start with you.
Okay.
You wrote the memoir called You've Been Chosen, and it's your cancer journey. You talk about it. Why did you decide to write this book?
Okay, so you probably don't remember this story, okay? But we were together at one of your amazing Thanksgiving food giveaways, okay, at Minnie's Pantry. And of course, we stayed until the end, and we're in the back, literally taking out the garbage, cleaning up, because you know that's what you do. Okay, you are in there working, and you got me in
you
there
too,
working.
though.
I'm in there working, and the phone rang. And you said, okay, girl, hold on, let me just take this call. And it was Jan Miller, and the publisher, the publicist. And so you said Cynt Marshall, and apparently she was saying, I just heard Cynt Marshall speak somewhere. There's a book in her. I want her to write a book.
I want her.
Do you
Oh,
know?
Jan.
Do you know her? And can you, if you do, can you connect me to her? And you said, do I know Cynt Marshall? And I looked at you, and you said, yeah. Hold on, she's standing right here. And it was just kind of like unbelievable.
It really was.
It was unbelievable. Do you remember that day?
And now I do, and I remember that was one of our first giveaways together.
Yes.
And I remember even saying, man, this woman is incredible. And Jan was like on demand. If you know the Jan Miller, I mean, when she wants somebody or something, she's going to get it. But how ironic that we were all together. You were there too, weren't you?
I know. I didn't think I came to that one.
I think yours was the next year.
The next year. I did the next year. I didn't do the first.
Because you would have been in the
Yes.
back taking out the garbage. Right. I know you. I know you. Okay, so then when I was talking to her, she said, well, can we just meet? I heard you speak, blah, blah, blah. So we have our coffee meeting. And then she said, okay, I want you to write a book. You just need to write a book, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, if I write one, it has to be about my cancer journey. And so I told her all about that. And she says, okay, I heard you speak, and it's about leadership, and you were talking to the women, and then motherhood. And I said, okay, maybe there are 3 books in me.
Right.
Okay, because maybe it's cancer, leadership, and motherhood, because I need to tell my story. That's what people have been asking for. And so I ended up giving her my cancer journal that I had put out there when I was going through my battle. I had posted on the Caring Bridge, and so we had turned it into this journal that one of my chief of staff, Amy Hadnot, I love her, ended up like putting together. She said, since so many people are calling about this, so many employees are calling about this, let's just send it out kind of in a nice way. Because literally what I would do, I would just print out all the pages and just send it to the people.
Well, you need to start it again, I believe.
And she said, so let's do it differently. So that's what I gave to Jan. And I thought I gave her a masterpiece.
Then what happened?
And then
And she jammed it. She
she
jammed
said,
it.
okay. She said, okay. She said, good starting point. And so we're gonna have to put some more to it. I said, no, because I've been working on it, and I had some intros with some scriptures. She said, okay, that's good. Let me just work with it. So anyway, we went through the whole process. She talked to all these kind of like publishers and all that. They all ended up wanting it. And one of the things they said is they thought I had been chosen for more than just my cancer story. And that's why when you read the book, every other chapter is a round of chemo, because that was important to me, that you just be able to pick up this book and say, okay, what did she go through in round 4? What did she go through in round 6? So every other chapter is a round of chemo, and then every other chapter is some kind of life story that they felt I was chosen for, and they thought, they said you need to tell these stories. And so it was that call at Minnie's Pantry that day.
That is amazing.
That Jan Miller made to you.
Cynt, I literally forgot that moment. That is just, that's
amazing.
And now I get to tell the
And now
story.
you get to tell the story. Full circle moment. Full circle moment.
Oh,
Ooh, that's one of those.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm literally trying to digest that at this moment right now. And then
You were
send
there at
me
the
that.
start.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm the one. Yeah. Jan's looking for her, and I found her. And I went looking for Cynt when she came into the city. We'll talk about that another time.
You've been chosen.
I did. It's crazy. Yes. Connie, Dr. Connie Bell, y'all. First of all, she is a doctor.
Yes,
but
she is.
Let me call her Connie for the sake of this interview. Connie, you just released a new memoir. It's called Shades of Strength. It was released last month, and the book provides a glimpse into your personal cancer story, amongst other things. But you said in the book, it's on page 118, because I remember the page, and I didn't write this question. It said, cancer happened to all of us. So tell us about your journey and what you meant by that statement.
Well, similar to Cynt, I got diagnosed 2008. It was really hard to hear those words. The way my doctor said it was, before they even did all the pathology tests, I'm 99.9% sure, this is breast cancer. So that puts you in a whole different mindset, altogether. But I think when when I look back, it didn't just happen to me. You know, people think cancer happens to the person that happens to have, you know, cancer, whatever type of cancer it is. But cancer actually happens to everybody that loves that person. Everybody that spends time with them, everybody that cries with them, everybody that prays with them.
Lots of crying.
It's lots. Oh God, yes, right.
Lots of
crying. You know, everybody that goes to appointments. I recall a day where I looked up my daughter Jillian. She was a freshman in college. Came home from college, just fell on my bed, just crying, and it was just the worry. She drove 5 hours straight because of that worry. So it wasn't just me going through the physical part of cancer, it was the emotional part that it was causing on all of the family or the friends and people that I loved.
You know, that was interesting because you talked about Jill and her being a freshman in college. Anthony was my son. My youngest son was a freshman in college when I got diagnosed. And it was hard on him. I remember it was Good Friday, and I guess everybody was supposed to stay at school and all that, and he ended up driving home. They finally just said, let Ken go, because he was at the School of Arts, and so they had some big production. They said, let him go. And he just showed up because he was having a hard time. And he said he just needed to see.
Yeah, you're starting a new journey in your life.
Right.
And your mom, you know how we are about our babies.
Right.
They are about us, right?
How they are about us, right? Exactly.
Right. Yeah, our babies.
Exactly.
Right? And it's just that emotional pull. You know, just imagine, you know, for them. So it's hard.
I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel
It touches everybody. You're
full
right.
Transparency. My sister has a breast cancer, so we're going through it. You know, I'm going through it right now. So your stories are strengthening me, as I know it will, the people that watch this podcast. So please continue to be transparent.
touches everybody.
It does.
It does.
It really does. It happened to all of us, because when they said her, I'm like, well, what do I do, right? Yeah. Cynt, we're going to talk about how you often speak about the call that you received from the doctor.
Oh my goodness.
What was that like?
Oh, I remember I was at work. So I had a colonoscopy the day before my 51st birthday. So my last day of 50. And it was as a result of something that AT&T had done called the corporate athlete, where they asked you to focus on one thing to improve either your physical, mental, or emotional health. You remember the corporate athlete? And so I said, well, I mean, I'm great in all of them, so I don't really need to do anything. And they kept just saying, pick one thing. So I finally decided, I said, oh, I got a referral slip over a year ago to get a colonoscopy that literally was sitting on my nightstand that honestly, I had never planned on doing anything with. I was healthy.
Wow.
Right.
And I had gone through this thing where I had stopped eating my fried chicken and ding dong. I said, okay, I'm going to be healthy. I said, I'm good now, okay? I'm going to be healthy. And so, but I remembered that slip, and I said, okay, that's the one thing I will do. And so one of my buddies, you remember how they would ask us, we both worked at AT&T, so they would ask us to get an accountability buddy. So Frank Jules, my buddy from New Jersey, would call every day with that New Jersey accent and said, you got that thing done? Joy, you got that thing done? And he'd always catch me going through the Starbucks line. And I said, I'm going to schedule it. So I finally did schedule it. And the day, literally my last day of 50, December 14th, 2010 is when I had my colonoscopy. I'm at work the next day on my birthday, my 51st birthday, in this big meeting. It was this crazy kind of meeting, okay? And my assistant pulled me out, and she said the doctor was on the phone. Now, honestly, I thought she was pulling me out for like the surprise birthday party, because that's why I always work on my birthday, okay? I always work on
I want the party. Give me a
work
party.
on my birthday. I'm like, we're having a little party. I'm thinking, you know, it's kind of early, right? Like, are they having like a brunch this year? Right. I'm thinking, are they having a brunch, right? And so she said, I need you to come out. And I come out. I'm kind of like looking to see who's around. I'm like, it's kind of early, right? And so she took me to my office, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm feeding balloons, okay? And she said, no, like, your doctor's on the phone.
With my presents.
No, where's my stuff? And so she said, the doctor's on the phone. And when I got on the phone, he said, you know, he's a gastroenterologist, so he can't give me his, you know, opinion. He just said, you need to get to a surgeon. And Kenny had tried to tell me the night before, because you know, you come out of that anesthesia, it's like the best anesthesia when you have a colonoscopy. Oh, that's the best sleep. And he said, your doctor said he needs to talk to you. And Kenny hadn't shown me the stuff yet, because he had given Kenny the pictures. He just said he needs to talk to you. So when he called the next day, I said, oh yeah. I said, my husband said you were going to call. And he said, you need to get to a surgeon. And he said, I don't like what I'm seeing here. And he tried to describe it a little bit, but he couldn't. I mean, he could only go so far. He said, I have somebody who you need to call. And it's a surgeon. He said, you have a tumor, and it's going to have to come out. And he went on and on and on. And he said, I need you to like call him today. I said, well, okay then. So I ended up scheduling an appointment, went to see the surgeon, and he said I could just put it off for a couple of months because it was the holidays and all that. But once I had gotten home and Kenny showed me those pictures, I said, no, this has to come out.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't leave the doctor's office until literally he found
Somebody did.
a hospital where he could do the surgery. It was on a Friday, that Monday. I said, I'm not leaving. And he said, he kept saying, well, you could just wait. You can wait, blah, blah, blah. I said, I'm not leaving. And you can read the whole story in the book. And Kenny told the man after about an hour and a half, he said, she gonna leave? Kenny said, no. He said, I know I've been married to this woman.
No, she ain't leaving till she had his appointment. Look,
Right, but you have to advocate for yourself. But I actually didn't know, I wasn't expecting anything that bad, but you still have to advocate for yourself. And so he ended up doing the surgery, said he'd call the day after Christmas. And so went through all that, and then when he called, I'll never forget those words. He said, I was actually on my cell phone working, getting ready for our legislative agenda to kick off in January, right? And he said, and so the house phone rang. And so I went to pick up the house phone while I was actually on my call, right? You know how we do.
Yep.
And so he said, I have bad news. No, he said, I have news. It's bad and significant. And I was standing up, and so I'm like, okay, I need to sit down. Okay, so I took the phone, sat down. Kenny was looking, and I'm on this other phone. And at this point, I just dropped my cell phone because I can't talk to the lobbyist anymore. It's like, this is more important. And he said, you have cancer. It's in your lymph nodes and blood vessels. And then he just started telling me how bad it was.
Wow.
I said, okay. I mean, I wasn't ready to hear that.
Of course
And
not.
so I said, okay. And Kenny's around me and stuff. And so I'm starting to cry, and Kenny's holding me. And it's like, well, oh, this is crazy. I can't even believe I'm hearing these words. And I couldn't wrap my mind around the word cancer. I couldn't even repeat it to Kenny. He's like, what is he saying? What is he saying? I said, he's just got bad news. I mean, I couldn't even like say it.
Shock.
I was in shock.
It's shock.
It was an out-of-body experience. That's the way I described it. It was like he is not talking to me. Did you experience that?
Like this
I
is
was just
what
about to
it
ask
was.
you.
It was same. It's like really amazing because
Right.
the same thing. So I'm like literally in the doctor. They had they were coming in to do the biopsy, and it didn't work because it was so hard. They had to go get a machine or something that does it, and that machine was like the noise. But the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm sitting on the bench. I had my earplugs. That's when they didn't have Apple iPods,
Right.
so I had the whole thing. And I'm literally
Age.
on a call, like with the thing in my ear, and letting them do all of their things. And the same thing when she pulled the tissue out and she held it up and she said, I'm 99.9%. And it's like, I just like, everything was like, but we were so tied
Right.
to work.
So tied to work. You're working.
You're
okay?
working. You're like, I got to get this done. I
Right.
got stuff to do. And
Because
you're
you're
telling me
him,
what?
hurry up, right?
Yeah.
Because your mindset is like, hurry up with this. Because like I'm
That's what
busy,
it
I'm trying to plan a legislative agenda. Okay, we
Right.
got a chance to get some big stuff done for the company with deregulations. Like,
stuff
come
to
on
do.
now, hurry up. And he comes with this, and it really wasn't. I said that's the only out-of-body experience. And you know, I've gone through a lot:
Right.
miscarriages, death of a daughter, brain damage with Kitty, all that. I've gone through a lot of stuff, right? I never had anything that was like an out-of-body experience.
it
Like
was-
he is not talking to me.
All of a sudden, I couldn't remember anything. I
Right.
couldn't even remember where I parked.
You couldn't even
I was-
breathe.
I couldn't remember where everything just kind of went. Yeah, it probably was out of body. Like, you're
Right.
sitting there, but you're not.
Right, like you're
Yeah.
not talking to,
You're
like
not-
he wasn't
like-
talking to us. And then Kenny ended up just
was
kind
so
of grabbing me, and
described.
I'm like, I said, I gotta call my mother.
Yeah, I was just
Wow.
about to ask you, what was it like when you had to tell your mother that you had cancer? Because she's a woman of faith. We
Yes.
all
Strong
know
woman
that.
of faith.
Strong.
She is.
Yeah.
Strong woman of faith. So I called my mom and I said, okay, so, because everybody's like waiting for the results, because this was the 30th of December and we have been waiting since the 26th, right? So people have been calling for 4 days, like, did the doctor call? And so I called my mom. I said, okay, so just talked to the doctor. And I have cancer, colon cancer, and it's in my lymph nodes and blood vessels, and I'm just crying, right? It's like, I am just a mess.
You're
He
sick.
said, I'm going to have to have chemotherapy. Because I had asked him, what if I don't have it? He's like, well, you won't be talking to me. Okay. So he made it clear, like, you need chemo. You want to live. And so I told her all that. And I am a mess. Kenny's crying. I'm crying. My mother, and she's soft-spoken. until that voice of power kicks
Yeah,
in and that
yes,
anointing
yes.
Need that.
kicks in.
Come on,
And
girl.
my mother started quoting scriptures. All sickness is not unto death. Healing is the children's
on.
bread. Okay, faith. I mean, she just went
By his
She
stripes.
there.
ran.
Okay, by his stripes we are here. I mean, she went there. And so she says, honey, she says, you've been chosen for this. She said, you've been chosen for this. You have a high profile job. People will know about
you.
this. They will hear about this. You will tell his story. It will all be for the glory of God. They will get to know him. She said, honey, you've been chosen for this. Now, at that point in time, I wasn't trying to receive all that. Okay? I was trying to have a pity party.
Right? You had to get it out,
I'm
right?
crying. Kenny is crying. I'm all laid out. Because literally, I was on the floor talking to her. Oh, I got cancer. And this in my lip. Oh, God. I'm just going. And she just wasn't happy. She would not accept the invitation to the pity party.
Yeah.
She's like, we got this. Now, I found out later that when she hung up, she called my sisters. And she just broke down. Okay. But for me,
Yeah, but that's what I was gonna say. How
She went to
important
the
is
throne.
it for people that are around you? Because like I said, my sister has cancer. So talk to the people who don't have it, but they're trying to support. How important is that support system?
yeah.
Wow.
And
so I guess, my daughter Jillian just passed and she battled breast cancer as well.
I'm so sorry.
And so advocacy is, God, I don't even have how to define that. But what it taught me is that it wasn't really about what I wanted to do. It was about, I had to support her in what she wanted to do. And so lots of time, like Cynts said, she has her story, she has her way that she went through. I have my story, I have my way that I went through. And I wanted her to do what I wanted to do.
And what did she do?
And I remember this because, of course, we're buddies, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
so you
Talk about that.
call your friends, your sister friends, and you say, okay, here's what Jill has decided to do, and I want her to do this other route, and so I need you to talk to her. Because
No, I need you to convince her. Don't talk to her. Convince her.
Talk to her and convince her that this is what I want her to do. She's got to get her treatment, blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay, girl, wait a minute, wait. We're going to pray about this because she's a grown woman. And she's strong
Yeah, strong.
woman.
Strong woman.
Got it from my mother, okay?
Yeah.
And so we got to honor her decision to a point, I think. It just kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, I'm with Connie. I'm like, so, girl, you're this new generation. I said, so we're going to pray through this. And and at that point, I said, you know what? And Jill's my goddaughter, as is Jaren, another daughter. I said, but my role right now is I'm going to support Connie
Of course.
in how she decides to journey this with Jill.
Yeah.
And I'll come alongside both of them, but I got to be right here.
Because nobody wants to hear the word, your child.
Correct.
Your child has cancer. That's when you talk about your mom, and I'm sure my mom did the same. In front of me, she was stoic, but I'm sure at some point she broke. It's like that's not something you ever expect to hear.
Correct.
In your lifetime. And when they decide to do, we're in a different generation, so we're into traditional medical treatments,
Of
right?
course.
And she was more, I'm going to do this naturally. And I was like, oh my God, she's not going to do chemo. Chemo helped me, radiation helped, so I wanted to do that. But then I realized I had a totally different role.
Right.
I had to advocate for what she wanted. And I had to, whatever my advocation was, it had to be her voice.
Right.
It took a minute to get there.
I can imagine.
People like Cynts, besides because I
Oh,
was
that's
like,
what my sister is. So I'm so gleaning for what you're saying to me right
so
now.
you cannot put your wants or your desires on her.
It's their battle.
It's their battle. And what I did find by going to people say, oh, I would do this. It made me so angry when people would tell me, oh, you should do this, you should do this, And so I had to remember, I didn't like it. So she probably doesn't like it either. So
Correct.
how do I transition and get into a way to where I'm acting like she needs me to act, or supporting her in the way that she actually needed. So I think for people that are going through, or people that are supporting caretakers, advocates, advocate with their voice, not your voice. Your voice does not matter.
That's beautiful.
Right. It
That's
does not
so
matter.
beautiful,
And you
Connie.
said it, every battle is different.
It's different.
And people make different choices.
Yeah.
And you have to come alongside
And respect their
them
choice.
and
choice.
respect
Oh,
choice.
I didn't know how much I would need this as much as the person who's probably watching this needs it right now. Thank you for that. Connie, I have a question for you. What no longer matters to you that you once seemed and deemed very important?
Wow. So,
Wait,
I was gonna say that, but I was like, you can't say this. You can't say nothing.
I know.
But I know you saw it, right?
I know you, and I know what you were thinking.
Nothing mattered to me.
Honey, nothing more.
at
See,
all.
I know her. I'm going for 40 years.
It was like, being a woman in corporate, what mattered prior to cancer was climbing that ladder, the titles, the accolades, the awards,
I feel
how
it.
much money I made, all of that mattered, right? And today that doesn't matter. What matters to me, what is my purpose? What am I doing to help other people? What Cynts says, not what keeps me up at night,
It's
what gets me up in the morning. So that's what
good. Say
that's
that
what
again.
matters.
Repeat that again.
Not what keeps me up at night, but what gets me up in the morning.
Because
Oh,
people ask
that's
me
a shirt.
in the interviews, what keeps you up at night?
Yeah.
Nothing. First of all, I'm a night owl. Okay? So like, I'm going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay? But it's what gets me up in the morning.
Right.
It's that passion.
Right, and so that's what matters. What gets
Oh
you
my
up, that
gosh.
passion, that purpose. So that's what matters. All that other stuff, it don't matter no more.
I love that. I love that. And then how did supporting your daughter through her cancer journey affect you as a survivor? Because you survived it. She went her own way. And you just lost her.
So
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. Wow. So I say
we
Cheryl
might
is
have
a
to-
crybaby. So I'm trying, like I'm not gonna cry because if I cry, she'll cry. Then
I'm
I
acting like I'm
gotta
cleaning
do
my glasses.
then I gotta do the ugly
I'm acting
cry.
like I'm cleaning my glasses.
The ugly cry.
I'm gonna fan myself
So-
to keep from crying. That's what I'll do.
So again, we had different paths on that, and being a parent is extremely hard to watch your child go through that or any other illness.
And let me just throw this in. Connie, and you read about it in the book, Connie was going through this while also her other 2 children were going through things.
Yep.
One is actually in the audience right now, my goddaughter, Jaren. Where's Jaren? I love you, baby. I'm so glad you're still here. Okay? Yes, because Connie, you didn't talk about kind of your diagnosis and the impact to your daughters.
Yeah, so I have the gene, so I'm BRCA positive. And so once we found out I was BRCA positive, the girls got tested, and both of the girls were BRCA positive. And so it was quiet for a moment, and then I don't even know how we got to where, Jaren had to remind me, to where we said, okay, let's start talking to the doctors about preventative things. So while Jill actually had cancer and was doing chemo and the surgeries and everything, Jaren was having the preventative surgeries, which went all bad. I think at the end of the day, she had 9 surgeries. And at the same time, my son got diagnosed with a kidney disease. So all this was kind of like, overlapping at the same time. But I would say in terms of supporting Jill on her cancer journey, it just became about just being there, being her voice, never accepting answers. So what can you do for your sister or people that are going as an advocate or somebody that's going through that journey with them? Is the first answer was never enough for me.
Okay.
I had to ask
good.
question and question and question. I had to write stuff down. So it was just being really a part of that journey. Doctor's appointments, the way I learned how to cook vegan food.
Oh my God.
Because she was a vegan, right? She was a
Exactly,
vegan.
exactly.
So I learned how to keep, so it was like being all in and whatever it looked like for her. So it wasn't, I had to transition from what my journey looked like to what her journey looked and adopt to what she needed hers to look like and just do it the way she wanted.
That
And you
makes
mentioned
sense.
talking to the doctors, because I remember when Kenny started his battle 3 years ago. And we're in the doctor's office, and they had written something in the portal, but had never called him that said, go see a hematologist. But we never knew that was there. And through a series of circumstances unrelated to his cancer, we ended up finding that in the portal. And so when I went to the doctor with him, and we were asking about that note, and the doctor kind of had, a response that wasn't acceptable to me. And Kenny was just kind of looking at him. And when I saw that Kenny wasn't going to respond to it, I literally got up out of my chair and went and sat over there. Well, I didn't sit down. I was kind of kneeling down with the doctor.
Of course you were.
And I looked right at him.
Right.
And I said, no, what does that note mean? And do you have the hematologist that he can go and see? We're not even talking about the fact that, in my opinion, you should have called him. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're not talking about that. Just who is it now? And we need to see that person today.
Yep.
And Kenny was just looking like, we don't have to sit. No, we need to see that person.
Yeah. And you know, I started asking them questions like, but who would you send your mama to?
Right.
Yeah.
Who would you send your daughter to?
Right. That's
Because
good,
don't
though.
just throw a name out there.
Correct.
Like, tell me who, you would
That's
go.
good
Right.
information.
And don't be scared to ask for a second opinion.
Because the person who's battling it sometimes, they're in a
tired.
whole different zone.
They're out of body.
They're out of body.
They're out of
They're out of
body.
body. And your whole life has changed. Everything has changed. Your routine has changed or getting ready to change. So you need somebody around that can hear what the doctor's saying, that could actually ask questions that you probably should be answering, but you don't really kind of like know. And I remember when Kenny called me at work the next day and he said, because we went to see the hematologist, and he said, well, it might take him a little while to call me back. And then he called me at work and he said, they just called me back. And they said they want to see me today.
Look,
Yeah.
that's right.
And he says, okay, so what do you think that means? He said, they have the test result. They want to see me today. I said, they called you today and they want to see you today? And I'm straight up no chaser. You know me. I said, that's bad news. I said, dude, that's bad news. I said, so I'm on my way home. I just told him. I said,
I'll be
you
here
know
in a minute.
what? Because it's like we got to get this show on the road now, okay?
Yeah.
I said, that's bad news. He said, you think it's bad news? I know it's bad news. They call you today. They say, come right now. It's bad news. Okay, so let's go and get this news and do what we need to do. So we go in there. We talk to the doctor. She tells me you have multiple myeloma, stage 1. Okay, so I said, okay, stage 1. So we're talking. And he's just kind of looking.
Like, she done took over my appointment.
Wait a minute. and I looked at him, and he says,
I got this.
so it's cancer. She said, yeah, it's a blood cancer, blah, blah. And she kept saying it's stage 1. And he said, so cancer. And I finally looked at him. I said, dude, you've been chosen. And he started laughing. I started laughing. And the oncologist, she's looking like, what is going on in here? And I said, it's a long story. I said, I got a book I'll give you later. I said, you've been chosen, dude. I said, let's go. And then we just got on that journey, and he ended up having a stem cell transplant that was just a beast. And thank goodness it's 3 years. They just put him in, technically in remission.
Yes.
He still has to go for
Praise
chemo once a
God.
month because, a trace of it is still in his DNA. But we caught it at stage 1, but he was chosen too. But we have to get on it because I said, see, I learned the hard way.
Wasn't playing.
Yep.
I
There's
learned
no
the hard way.
delays. No delays.
No delays.
No delays.
Like no
delays.
time. Yeah.
And if they tell you it's a delay, find somebody else.
Right.
So it's like
You got to rock
You
and
gotta
roll.
get on it
yeah,
right now.
you got to get on it. So
Because even when my doctor called me, he said, I'm sure you're pretty mad at me right now because I told you I didn't think it was cancer. He said, in my 25 years as a surgeon, I've seen tumors like that before. And I told you could wait until February to even have your have your surgery because I didn't think it was cancer. He said, so I'm sure you must hate me right now. And I told him, I said, actually, I don't. I said, in fact, you kind of went up some notches in my book because in your professional opinion, for you to think that I did not have cancer, you still did your job. And you did it thoroughly. You biopsied every lymph node you need to. Like, he didn't cut any corners.
Correct.
He didn't say, okay, well, I don't even think it's cancer, so I don't have to do all. He did his job. And that's what you want. Is somebody, you have to be on top of it and not allow a delay.
That's
and
right.
you want somebody who is taking it seriously and they are right in there with you. And my oncologist was the same way, just right in there with me.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Cynt, you wrote a book. The book is You've Been Chosen. And when you purchased the book, I know when I received my book, this bookmark was in here.
Yes.
Your son, Kenny
Yes.
Anthony, he
Yes.
did this bookmark. And
He
it's talking
did.
about the things I learned something during every round of chemotherapy.
Yes.
Will you talk about that? Because this is a powerful bookmark.
Yes, so it was taken from, those Caring Bridge posts, because every round of chemo, I would try to post something. And I would come in there. I had a party at the chemo center. I called it the Chemo Clubhouse because I said, we're all in there fighting for our life. So you walk in that cancer center, everybody's plugged up. I said, this is the clubhouse. I had a party every round of chemo and then some extra parties. And I'd walk in and they'd say, well, how are you doing? I say, I'm doing fabulous, but y'all getting ready to take care of that, okay? Because you know when you walk out. When you walk out, it was going to be another story. And so I would leverage my 5 good days. And so we had parties and all that. And then I'd come home and what I would try to do is post either the
Yep.
end of that last day or just that beginning of that first, bad day, because then you're going to be wiped out and you can't. And so this is taken from every round, and it just said, number one said, take friends on the road.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to read what it says. Take friends on the road. Number two said, appreciate the journey.
Yeah.
Because it is a journey. Take nothing for granted, honestly, and I know I took my health for granted. 4 said, make a grand entrance, and that's
you
how
do
I
that.
walked into that. That's how I walked into that chemo center. And that's how I walk into life now.
Yeah.
And I know that's how you walk
That's
into
how
life.
I stay.
Look at
Y'all
these
know I-
shoes.
y'all know I
Look at
love
these
my shoes. Look.
That's a grand entrance.
Look, and I had,
Somebody get the shoes. Y'all get the shoes. Get the shoes. The pink breast dancer shoes. Okay.
So I love my shoes. So
Yes.
I would walk into chemo with my shoes and my jewelry, and they give me that Benadryl, and I'd be out.
Knock you out. Knock you out. But you were looking good.
But I have my
But you
bling
were looking
on, like I
good.
have my bling on, because you gotta look good. I didn't have no hair, but I have a great.
you know,
my head is shaped really well, so I was able
So
to
you were
work it.
ready. You could rock it. Sometimes they would say, the doctor would say, what did you do, during the last 2 weeks? And one time he actually gave me a pass from what I call the mean medicine, that oxyplatin. Oxyplatin. And so I said, I went and bought me some pumps. And he thought I was talking about like the chemo pumps or something. He said, it's some pumps. What, you were in here? I said, no. I got me like 9 pairs of shoes, like pumps, okay? Like I went shopping, okay? And so I would start rocking some new shoes in there, just doing anything to kind of like keep my spirits up. It's just like you
That's
just
what
have to
we
figure it
hear.
out. So it was make a grand entrance, adjust the pain points, and that's when sometime they would, adjust my medication, celebrate halftime. Somebody told me one time, and it was this guy at work, Walter. He said, Cynt, you're halfway through. We got to have a party. We got to celebrate. When I got to
That's a
round
good
6,
one.
at the end of round
Halfway
6,
through.
That's a
he
good
said
one.
we got to celebrate halftime. So we did. Get straws, gloves, and fuzzy socks because I had to have those because of the neuropathy. You know all that. You can barely swallow. So just figure out what are the things you need, and don't be ashamed.
Yeah.
Don't try to just say, okay, well, I'm okay, and you don't want people to see you. I mean, like right now, I
Right.
still have neuropathy. If you walk in my house, it could be 100 degrees outside. I am in my fluffy
That's
socks.
the worst.
It's the worst. I mean, I still wear them right now. I got the socks in the car because you know how that is.
Yeah, it was the
you
worst.
you experienced that, and so get those. Rethink what is possible, and that was AT&T's tagline.
Yep, I remember
at the
that.
time.
Yeah.
And I said I'm gonna do rethink possible because my hair started coming out. Right. I said I'm gonna do rethink possible, and I remember when I got my hair. And mine didn't completely fall out from the cocktail that I had. They had already told me you probably won't go bald, but it will start to come out. And my sister-in-law had given me some advice. She said, just cut it. Just cut it real short.
That's what I did.
You won't lose all your hair, but go short. And I did, and I remember calling Anthony, and he says, I sent him a picture. And he said, Mom, this looks great. Can I post it? And I said, no, don't post it. And he said, oh, I know it's hard for you, huh? I said, no, baby, you got to wait till I get home, put my big earrings on. I said, we're going to post it.
Wait, they're gonna put stuff on.
We will post it, but I got to be ready.
I gotta
See, I
finish the
don't have
doodle.
my Janelle closet earrings back then, okay? 'Cause I would have gone real big. But I'm like, oh no, okay, I got to be ready.
Oh,
Okay, then
wow.
focus on the finish line because there is an end to
Focus.
chemo.
There
Okay, so really focus. And I was very focused on that when the doctor, one time the doctor and Kenny were talking, like I wasn't even sitting there. I guess they thought I was still having my out-of-body experience. Like I wasn't even sitting there. And they had decided they were going to delay a couple of rounds of chemo because I was in such bad shape. You know how that is. I lost so much weight. They just said, she can't handle it right now. And as soon as I got finished, I looked at him and I said, I'm here. And I heard all of that. We're going to proceed. Because I had that date in mind. I said, June 23rd is over.
Yeah.
Like I'm up out of here.
And see, I was the opposite. I was like, I'm not going back. I'm not going
Really?
back. So they gave me time off.
Really?
because
Did
I
they
was
really?
down
Because you
to-
were just being-
Yeah, I was like down to what, 80-something pounds. I got down to like 80-something pounds. I mean, I was
Well, no,
just
that's small, though.
tired.
I didn't get that
I
small.
was just like, I'm not doing it.
Tired.
I'm not doing it no more.
Exhausted.
And they were like, okay, we're gonna get you a break.
Right, just give you a break and then come back. And I was just the opposite. I'm like, because I need this to be over with. And
Right.
then, so I was focused on feeling like it's gonna be okay. Anthony wrote a song, and it ended up being on a talk show. He wrote a song and got this big tattoo, which I don't really like all that, right? And that big old tattoo, and it says, "It's gonna be okay," and that was his message to me. That's okay. I'm gonna let him get away with that.
You can get away. It's his mama.
He can
It's
get away
a
with
mama
that.
tattoo.
And then learn from the journey, because there was a lot to learn, and then be grateful.
Yeah.
So that's what he put on this bookmark with my picture, and then on the back it says, chose him thriving through the unexpected. And then he put, he made a website when this came out, September 2022. And I told him then, I said, I'm busy right now, so it's going to take me probably a couple of years to even put some content on the website. So it's been 4 years, but now there is content on the website.
It's content on after 4 years.
Well,
That's great.
It took a
No, I'm
minute.
saying you
It took a
did.
minute.
Right.
Which I'd
You
already
did
told him
it,
it's
right?
going to take a minute.
But you did it. You did it. These are great stories, and thank you for being so transparent. Connie, you fought cancer. You've been a caregiver. What advice would you give to caregivers who are trying to figure out how to support their loved ones?
The most difficult thing to do is to rest. So if you don't replenish, you're not doing a good job of taking care of.
Are you listening? Are you listening?
I'm listening. I am listening.
Are you listening?
First lady, if you
Yeah. Are you listening?
when you
yeah.
become a caretaker, you let everything goes around the person that you're caring for.
You're
And
right.
The biggest thing, the thing on the top of my list is take time to replenish. And so sometimes that replenish doesn't mean like going to sleep or whatever. For me, it would be like going around, driving to Target, going to parking lot,
What
having
you
that
love.
ugly cry.
Yeah. Ooh, how many
Come
of
hang
them?
out at my house.
Yeah, go to Cynt house, get my blanket, go to my
Yes.
room. I got a room at her house.
Yes.
I love it. I love that though.
But it was just whatever it takes to replenish, do it.
Now, how has cancer changed you? You survived it.
Wow.
You wrote the book.
I live with purpose. So in my book, I talk a lot about, I'm an introvert. So this is like really
Not
hard for me.
anymore. You're coming out now.
That's why we're
I'm
so
an
good
introvert,
together.
Right? Yeah.
I'm like,
so-
girl, just tell me.
Yeah, like, she's like, just say it, just say it.
Wait, no.
Get it out, girl. Say it.
wasn't thinking. You don't even have to tell her. She just
We're just talking without doing. She want to say nothing.
It's like, but it has taught me to use my voice. I have a voice. I will not dumb down or, my voice for anybody anymore. Where I used to, I would shrink to allow other people to have the stage. And if I have something to say now, I'm gonna say it.
You're gonna say
I've
it.
earned that right with
will
age.
say it.
She earned it.
With age and experience,
Yeah,
I've
that's
learned
right.
that right.
That's right. That's right.
Yes,
And she's got a lot of good stuff to say.
Yes,
A lot of good
yes.
stuff to
And so
say.
it's like, and so I think those are the ways that it's changed me. It's like I'm living with purpose. I'm doing the things I want to do, that I like to do, that I enjoy doing, helping others. And you know what? I refuse to shrink.
That is so beautiful.
There's value in.
Yeah.
It is.
I have value.
It is.
And I would tell you prior to that, I wasn't always sure I had value, and I measure
yes.
my value on how others measure my value. Now it's all about me.
Yes. And you know what? And in a good way, because I would say, we've talked about this for the both of us, and I have two kids who are great at this. Anthony and Shirley are great at this. I think it's also helped us to guard our peace, because you know that stress, like I'm mindful of the fact that there are people who have cancer, they've been in remission, and the cancer comes back. So I'm mindful of the fact that it could reoccur.
I love that.
And I've decided that's not going to be me. Okay, I had cancer at 51 years old. I said that was my midlife crisis. I'm living to 102. So I'm not having it come back.
Right.
Okay? And I truly believe that stress plays strange tricks on your body. It definitely plays strange tricks on my body, because I just ran myself into the ground leading up to me having cancer, right? And so I have to guard my peace. I can't have things in there that are messing up my spirit every day, that are causing me stress. Because I'm not trying. I'm trying to do whatever I can not to have it come back. I could probably eat healthy, because I started like sliding with the diet and stuff. But when it comes to my peace, and I know you're the same way, because we've talked about stuff. I said, well, girl, what happened? And you're just kind of all just matter of fact. And I said, well, do you care about that? You're like, no.
Nope. Nope.
And she got a strong no, too.
No. Be like, don't cross this line.
Yes,
You in my
yes. You got an
space. You in my
attitude with your
space.
no.
Yeah.
You
Because
have-
it was so much, you're living your life by what people are saying to you, and they're putting in your spirit. Now it's like, don't cross that line. I don't need your spirit in my spirit.
No, don't disturb my
Don't
peace.
disturb it.
Right. Well, this is so good.
It makes you just come at life a whole different way, because you have life, because you know that there are people who aren't here anymore because of cancer, and you survived it. So then you go out of your way to help other people get through it.
Yes.
But then you also have to guard your peace and yourself in the process, so you can be there for other people.
That's beautiful. So I'm gonna close I have a final question, but before I ask that question, this is totally off script. My mother was preaching on a Sunday morning, and my mother said she came and she emptied everything out of her purse. She said, Cheryl, get all the money out. And she started giving it out to people that were in the church. And she said, if God were to take me home, she said, I would want my headstone to read, she loved God and she loved God's people. My mother died that Thursday of the same week. And if you were to visit Turrentine, her headstone says she loved God and she loved God's people. You ladies are both survivors. But if God had taken you home, what would you want people to say about you? What would your epitaph read?
God, your mom's kind of nailed it for me. Is that I love people, and I love helping people, and I think that's what she loved people. She loved God. She loved people. She loved caring for others. I mean, that's big for me, caring for others, because I think everything that I have is a blessing. It's not really for me.
Right.
It's for other people, and so I think that I love sharing with other people.
That's beautiful. What about you, Cynts?
Mine at 102
She ain't going nowhere.
She ain't going nowhere to 102, right?
will read, and my kids know this, she left it better than she found it.
Yep.
And that's all I want. I've been talking a lot about, you get all these awards. That's when you know you're at the time of your life. You get all these Lifetime Achievement Awards, Trailblazers Awards, and I'm appreciative of all of that. And people talk about being the first and the door, the footstep, the trails. And what I say a lot now is, I love the footprints because we have to leave footprints for people. But I'm more into now the fingerprints. I'm about who am I touching? Who am I touching along the way I'm bringing on this journey? Who am I touching when I hear they have cancer showing up in the hospital room if they're sick? Who are we caring for? So it's about those fingerprints. And so whether it be that I left an organization or a community or a person better than I found it or them.
Yes.
That's all I want to be said. I want it to be said that my life was better. I want somebody to say my life was better
Because she was in it.
because I met Cynt Marshall, because she was in it. That's all I want. That's all I want. She left it better than she found it. At 102, y'all come out and talk. Y'all come out and talk about me.
Not a minute earlier. Not a minute earlier, like.
I'm going to close with something that you posted, Cynts, on social media, and as we started National Cancer Survivor Month, and I just want you to read the excerpt, please.
Okay, and so I brought it. It said, my doctor warned me that he had bad and significant news. As I began to make notes on our conversation, I wrote, you have cancer. It's in your lymph nodes and blood vessels. It was easier to write the word than hear it. I stared at cancer in more ways than one. As I repeatedly looked at the word, I leaned in. All I could see were the first three letters, C-A-N, can. At that moment, I decided that I can fight this, I can beat this, I can tell people about it, I can rely on others, I can endure chemotherapy, I can live.
So beautiful. That is so beautiful. I just want to say once again, thank you, Cynts, thank you, Connie. It has been such, I think this was more for me than it was for both of you, sharing just your survivor and sharing how to treat someone. As I shared, I'm going through it right now with my sister, stage 4 breast cancer, and wondering in my mind, what am I supposed to do next?
Right.
And you both have answered some of those questions that I have. And she's a fighter, you know?
fighter.
And so I see fighters, I see survivor, and you're giving me the faith that she already has. You're restoring my faith. And so any person that's watching this or will watch this, I pray that they feel what I'm feeling sitting over in this seat. I pray that they get answers, because you answered a lot of questions, and hope. You're giving people hope right now. And so thank you both ladies for giving me and choosing me to get both of your stories out. I wish you so much success on your book, Shades of Strength. Cynt, your book still is just popping off the charts all around the country. You've been chosen, and you're right, you have been chosen.
Thank you.
I'm thanking God for choosing me to know you.
We love you, sister, and we're coming alongside you.
Yes, thank
we're praying for you and
you.
your sister.
I know you are. I know you are. So we're going to turn our attention now to something that you always do on My 2 Cents about the good stuff. You do the corporate spotlights and make a difference opportunities. And so the corporate spotlight today is from our friends. During each episode of My 2 Cents about the good stuff, we spotlight 2 corporations of organizations that are up to good stuff. It goes without saying that we must recognize the American Cancer Society and the tremendous amount of resources they make available. They have free programs and services to help people manage cancer treatment and recovery and find the emotional support that is needed. Go to cancer.org, again, cancer.org, to learn more about different types of cancer, understanding cancer, risk and prevention, screening, cancer care, and so much more. Now, Connie, who are we highlighting next?
Well, first I got to say, wow, I love that organization. Our next spotlight shines on Lyda Hill Philanthropies, who recently backed cancer prevention research with a significant grant aimed at developing vaccines and targeted drugs and other tools to stop cancer before they develop. The grant was awarded to the Cancer Prevention Initiative, a Dallas-based nonprofit that supports early-stage research into hereditary cancer and cancers caused by inherited genetic mutations. Go to cancerpreventioninitiative.org for more information on this amazing research. Shout out to Lyda Hill Philanthropies for making a difference. Cynt, I'm turning it over to you for our MAD opportunities, make a difference opportunities to wrap things up.
All right, this has just been so incredible for me. We have some surprises, so after I do the MAD opportunities, we are going to present some people with some things. So thanks so much, Dr. Bell. I love you, sister.
I love
you
you
know I
too.
love you, girl.
I love you too.
Before we close this episode, I want to highlight 2 MAD, Make a Difference opportunities. Our first opportunity is the Walk to End Colon Cancer on November the 7th, 2026 at Levitt Pavilion, 100 Abram Street in Arlington, Texas. Check-in and registration will open at 8 a.m. The walk is scheduled to start at 10 a.m. and will end at noon. Join the Colorectal Cancer Alliance, I love that organization, for this important event. Go to impact.ccallince.org for more information. My family has already signed up. Our team name is Chosen. So feel free to join the Chosen team. The second opportunity occurs on the first Tuesday of each month at 6:30 p.m. at Methodist Charlton Medical Center. WALK, W-A-L-K, is a faith-centered support group for women that provides encouragement, connection, and spiritual renewal for navigating life after a cancer diagnosis. Topics rotate every month. The next 2 sessions will be held on July 7th and August the 4th at 3500 Wheatland Road, Dallas, Texas. Please call 214-947-7777 for more information. So at this time, I want to first of all thank you, Cheryl Axon Jackson.
Yes.
I love you so much. Just thank you for all that you do for so many of us and for taking time to be with us today, especially considering what I know is going on in your life and how you are coming alongside your sister in a remarkable, remarkable way.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have these bags, and we're going to have Connie present one. These are bags that we send out to, we have kind of a group code. It's like 8 of us. And so we are always sending messages about people that we know that have been diagnosed. And so we like to send them things. So we'll send them the book.
Yeah,
and now you've been chosen. Now we've added Shades of Strength. We send them a blanket
What you discussed.
because it's just the stuff that
Wrap
I
around
needed.
love.
Wrap around. Ooh, I like that. It's the stuff that it's the stuff that I needed. You know, just the blankets. And you talked about your blanket, and then we have some fluffy
gloves.
socks. Yeah, those fluffy socks.
Yes.
Some gloves, hat, scarf, just the stuff you need to keep you warm going through chemo, and then a prayer journal.
I think that's so beautiful.
Every now and then we
beautiful,
put
right?
in the You've Been
Yes.
Chosen cups, but I ran out of cups. So.
We have
I put,
shades
no,
of
I put
success.
cups in.
Oh,
I
you
put
put cups
shades of
in?
strength cups in.
Oh,
Yeah.
we got shades of strength. You see how the Lord was looking out for
Look at
us.
that.
Okay,
We're
there's
so-
extra
we're
stuff
so
in this
connected.
bag I didn't know about. Okay.
So everybody in
So
the
everybody,
audience,
so tell them.
Yeah.
Yes, everybody in the audience will be receiving these, and then a couple of other people that have written in to us. Cynts has chosen them, and we'll be mailing some of these goodies. So thank you so much. And for those of you who are going through cancer, you are a survivor. You're looking at two of them right here,
Yes.
and you will make it as well. This has been another episode of My 2 Cents about the good stuff with your one and only Cynt Marshall.
Go out and make some good stuff happen.
Make some
Yes.
good stuff.
It's my 2 cents. My 2 cents about the good